In this video, we're taking a look at some of the best motion design, motion graphics, and animation work from the last month. Hopefully, I can introduce you to some new studios, directors, and artists who you haven't heard before. There is so much great work out there that I don't see them all, so please let me know which ones I've missed down in the comments, and please give this video a like if you find this content useful. It really helps the channel. First up are two projects that I missed from the last video. Studio River created this excellent manifesto. It's really a collage of pretty much every single animation style, showing off all of their skills as a studio with loads of humor as well, and a very French flavor that they definitely lean into, which I think is a great thing to do when making personal projects or studio projects, is to embrace what makes you and your work different and put as much of that in as possible.
We are French! Wait for it. Two! Ha ha ha!
Alex Grigg created this excellent cel animated piece with amazing detail and really insane and tasteful smooth transitions throughout it. Alex was the first person who taught me that you could animate in Photoshop from an hour-long tutorial that I saw maybe 8 years ago. So I'll put a link to that in the description. And he just continues to make excellent work year after year. Now on to the new stuff. The Studio Hobbs created this video for the Vowels track High in Heaven. And this one is a little different, and I always want to show off work that inspires me but certainly pushes the boundaries of the animation medium. And this was all animated with flying drones. Every one of these dots is a drone. They created this animation of the face and then programmed the drones to fly in that formation. Now this is something that maybe much easier could have been done just with the software, but I love that they did it for real, and they made a great behind the scenes video as well, explaining some of the interesting issues and problem solved that they had to go through to make this. It's really excellent work. Manvest Machine created this excellent spot for Spotify called Listening is Everything, and it is an amazing blend of type, photographs, and a really nice mix of that sort of MySpace era word art aesthetic and brutalist web design. It's executed so well and is so confident in the style as well, which I really admire. Johan Erickson, good friend of the channel, created this wonderful personal project called Crack. It is so much of his excellent use of color, but also really uses so well scale, pacing, humor, and just contrast throughout. And the music and sound design really elevate it to the next level. I really love this piece. Paul McMahon, the Rusted Pixel, created this short called Jack's Patch, just in time for Halloween, and it beautifully mimics stop motion piece. There are so many little design details that I love. These flames coming out of the engine, and at the end, I love the perspective in this shot. I think it's because I always revert to just the most basic layout and perspective when there's really no need. It's animation, you can do anything, and I love that he's warped that in this way. Julian Gardner for Adult Swim created I Ride My Bike When the Air is Crispy, and this is just so charming and fun. There is nothing particularly that is so advanced about the animation, but that design does all of the heavy lifting, and it's a great track too. Gabriella Calvi created this music video for the Town Portal song Vanitas. With a limited color palette and beautiful use of shadows and so much occult imagery, it portrays the 5 phases of sleep, and this very graphic style with this really heavy track is honestly so refreshing, and it works so well. And there's some work, some designs that just look cool. There's an edge to them that comes from just subtle design choices. And this is another outstanding example. I wasn't familiar with Gabriella's work until I had this shared with me, and I'm definitely a fan now. This is superb. In Shapes by Blue Zoo, directed by Zoe Reiser, is such an elegant blending of 2D and 3D styles, where 2D is used in the reflections for the character's image of herself, and it makes really great use of the vertical framing. There's great camera movement throughout, the composition is great, and it's just a lovely story, really well executed. Natalie Labare directed this great piece called Away Travel the Vote. There's so many excellent transitions in this style, but I just love the primary colors that are used here. They are so warm and inviting, and there has been a bunch of great election-based animations this year, and I'm actually recording this the day before the US election. So I'm just going to assume my reaction was, oh boy.
We're asking you to travel the vote. That means going directly to your registered polling place and voting in person.
Ruff Mercy has put out some great work this month. This one is called Lament for Emmett Till by Alani and Adrian Young. Ruff Mercy, if you don't know him, is one of my biggest inspirations, especially when I first got into motion design. They are just a master of animated mixed media. They use texture, painted elements, overlays, and footage so elegantly and make every frame captivating. And his latest music video is no exception. He released another one earlier this month, but this one for me takes the cake.
White was just a show more than it can ever show.
Keith Schofield directed the music video for Mesmerized by Duck Sauce, and this is just an insanely creative way to approach a music video. It mimics a rough animatic you might deliver for the music video, but it is full of hilariously staged and composited green screen elements and amazing meta cutaways to browsing the internet, torrenting files to be used in the animatic, and editing the animatic itself. It's just very funny. And regardless of how lo-fi it is, purposely lo-fi of course, but there is still so much work that went into this, and the result is spectacular. It does get pretty not safe for work towards the end though, so be prepared. Acoustic Studio created these two spots for Adobe Max, and they are just full of so much color and so much grit, and even in their short time on screen, they're really gorgeous and such an excellent use of gradients. I could look at these all day. And I think this is an appropriate time to plug my own Adobe Max talk, where I present about using social media to find and grow an audience online as an artist, so I'll link to that description as well. And now the part of the showcase that is just a massive show off of 3D textures, particles, and satisfying elements doing some crazy stuff beautifully. Mac Studio created just that for the opening titles for Inspirational 2020, which is everything that I've just described. twistedpolly created this personal project, which is the mix of his two passions, his creative side and his love for bikes, and it's just so beautifully rendered with amazing simulations. If you are into 3D motion design and mountain bikes, this must be like all of your Christmases coming at once. And I'm gonna say it, this is the best 3D mountain bike animated motion design piece ever made. But please prove me wrong in the comments. Shane Griffin created this piece, The Power of Answers, and this is again another phenomenally rendered, this time using neural pathways that form the brain, and it is such a gorgeous way to represent the act of thinking, and it gets you really caught up in the beauty and the emotion of it. This is excellent.
Through exploration, teamwork, and innovation. An answer that leads to even more answers. Mayo Clinic.
And now for the shorter Instagram posts and loops that I absolutely adored and deserve just as much attention as a full-blown project, because what's the difference these days? Fabian Rizzo posted this breakdown of a bottle animation he did for Ginventory, and I love a good breakdown. I love seeing the roughs, the cleaned up animation, and then the final thing. And seeing that he cleaned up the final thing in Adobe Illustrator was really interesting. I think that's something I might have to do for a video in the future. Pablo Rojas created this exceptional loop of this turtle character with a gun for an arm, and even better than that, he shared the roughs as well. There's so much good anticipation in this and little details in secondary motion in the fabric and the shoes, and of course the great smears on the spin as well. This is excellent. Rocket Panda Studio created this great short celebrating World Space Week, and the animation of this is just so fun. There's so many great little in-jokes, amazing sound, great textures and effects, and I just love the concept. Ryan Bird created this exceptional loop. I love how the water reflection is animated, and the transition into the eye is so well done. I love that you can see how much fun went into animating this. Mike Russo created this awesome countdown to the election, and I think this might be my favorite single shot that I've seen animated for this election. The way this building breaks apart is so nice. And I know from when this video is coming out that I'm going to be late to this, but anyway, go and vote, guys. It's important. Not Real Studio created this awesome short loop of babushka dolls, and I just love how much extra detail is in this. The way the characters spin and the easing on their bounce. You could have easily animated this way more simpler, just opening them up and the next one flying out. But having that 3D rotation just adds so much character. This is excellent. Now, I'm sure you all already know and follow DK Kwan, so this might not be new to you, but this piece is so good. Anything really about the meta process of creating an After Effects, I love. And the way this is simplified and the story's told with the clock running fast in the top right, this is excellent and very relatable. So let me know in the comments which one of these was your favorite and what have I missed that I should include in the next one. If you'd like to learn animation and motion design techniques, I've got a playlist of some of the best tutorials on this channel for you to take a look at. I'll see you in the next one.